Happy Friday, North Central Washington. Happy Friday, Wenatchee Valley. We made it to another week, the end of another week anyway. We did make it to a new month. It's November. It's the first day of November 2019. I'm Dan Koontz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. October is in the books, and it was a record-setting October weather-wise. We speculated about this yesterday on the show. It's official now from the National Weather Service. I'll get into this a little bit deeper here in a couple of minutes, but the October that just passed, the coldest October on record for the Wenatchee Valley. I thought maybe that would happen. It, in fact, happened. Weather details are coming up, although that gradual warming trend is going to continue little by little by little. We'll get back up to certainly much more comfortable temperatures than we've been dealing with over the last few days. That forecast for the weekend and into the early part of next week is coming up here in just a couple minutes. Well, not right now. Malcolm jumped the gun a little bit. We love him anyway. It's Friday, so you know what we do. We try to put together a five-star show. Well, we have already failed in doing that, but we're going to plow forward, by golly, with lots of good stuff for you. Over the next hour, we got your latest news headlines. We got a whole bunch of sports. Both the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eastmont Wildcats trying to avoid looking forward to next Thursday. Next Thursday, November 7th, it's the Wenatchee-Eastmont football game, the Bridge of Sportsmanship on the line, quite possibly the Big Nine title on the line, but they got business to take care of tonight. Eastmont has a league game. They're taking on the Moses Lake Chiefs. We'll have that for you live here on the NCW Live channel if you can't make it out to Wildcat Stadium. The Wenatchee Panthers will be down in Walla Walla, non-league game against the Blue Devils, one of their old rivals from the old Big Nine days. So Wenatchee has a non-league game, and then those two teams, if everything pans out, will clash for the championship of the conference a week from Thursday, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. We do have a lot of sports. Plus the obscure holiday. We got some birthdays to pass your way today in history. Everyone's entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. Looking forward to that. And we continue our series of interviews with the candidates who have thrown their hat into the proverbial ring. Wenatchee School Board position number 3, Sunny Hemphill, is the incumbent, and she's facing a rather spirited challenge from Martin Barron. And they sat down with their very own Cal Fitzsimmons a couple of weeks ago. We taped it. We're going to play it for you in the back half of the program. We have fair skies and 30 degrees about 2.5 minutes after the hour. Let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless setup. And there we have the cross camera. Always bats lead off. Take a look. Oh, there. TriCaster's misbehaving. There's our beautiful view from the Wenatchee Valley from our cross camera. Gorgeous view. Nice looking day today. We topped off at 46 on Thursday. Our normal high should have been 52 on Halloween. Our low last night was 25, normal 36. So yeah, it was a cool end to a cool month. October, the coldest October on record for the Wenatchee Valley. A number of daily records were set on October 2nd, 9th, 10th, and 29th. We either tied or broke the record cold temperatures for those dates. And then on the 25th, we set a record high. It was that kind of weird weather. It was very cold in October. That's, of course, the Orondo rock camber pointing down towards the Wenatchee Valley. Turtle Rock dominating your view. By the way, we just got a report of about a half an hour ago of a car on US 97A hitting a sheep. Passengers okay. The airbag was deployed. Passengers are not injured, but apparently a sheep made its way down on a US 97A and had a unfortunate accident with an automobile. The driver is okay. My guess is the sheep is not. That's a good view of the Lake Aniad area looking down towards the Wenatchee Valley. Camera number 3, where we're looking at. We're heading out to Monument Hill. Beautiful Monument Hill. Of course, that house that you see there is Steve and Lynette's summer home. It's a fixer-upper. They love the rustic lifestyle. Looks like they haven't been working on their cabin in quite some time. Way off in the distance is a beautiful area of Quincy. Good morning to our friends out in the Columbia Basin. And finally, camera number 4. I don't know. That's the jump-off ridge camera. What an incredible view that is. Sun's not coming up for quite some time. Sunrise will be in about 40 minutes, 7:44 this morning. Sunset tonight, 5:44. That gives us exactly 10 hours of daylight. Beginning tomorrow, we go under that 10-hour mark. And, of course, on Sunday, we go back to standard time. Yep, don't forget, we fall back on Sunday. 2 o'clock on Sunday morning becomes 2 o'clock on Sunday morning all over again. So we have a 25-hour day on Sunday as we get rid of daylight saving time and go back to standard time. Why we do it in the middle of the night, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, we should do it in the middle of the day. At 12 noon on Sunday, The 3rd, it's 12 noon all over again. That's what we should do. I mean, if we're going to get the extra hour back that we had to give up in March, let's take it back in the middle of the day. But I don't get to make those decisions, which is probably a good move. 5 minutes after the hour. Let's take a look at that forecast from the National Weather Service. Again, that ridge of high pressure is off the coast. It's keeping all of us cool and dry. The only expected impact for the foreseeable future is the air quality. It could go down because the temperatures are chilly. The overnight temperatures are chilly. You get those air inversions, and they trap pollutants near the surface. We've been talking about it all week because there's absolutely zero wind in the forecast. In fact, we have a graphic to show up. There you go. So if you're burning your, orchard debris or your leaf pile, whatever it is, and you can do so legally, as far as the Washington State Department of Ecology is concerned, watch out because we get those air inversions and all those pollutants will get right near the ground, and that could lead, well, for certain groups anyway, certain issues, certain respiratory issues. Again, there's no winds to mix up the air, so that's what we're going to be dealing with there. So there you go, 49, 51, 54, mostly sunny skies, getting back up to normal temperatures by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. The overnight lows will be gradually warming up as well. Not a bad looking forecast. Lots of sunshine, no precipitation, very little cloud cover, very little wind. It's already November. Can you believe it? As I already mentioned, we just finished the coldest October on record for the Wenatchee Valley. It was a chilly, chilly October, and we had wind too. It was a strange month, but it's in the books. It's November 1st. We're going to take a break at 7 minutes after the hour. When we come back, we'll have your Friday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we're live this morning from Studio 1 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
My first experience with CVCH, I had to come in with my daughter by myself. My first experience with CVCH, I had to come in with my daughter by myself with a cut in my hand that required stitches. And the care and compassion of CVCH was really significant, that they took the care and compassion and made me feel more as a human instead of just a patient there. The care they have for their community all around, inside and outside the clinic, is what I feel like is different. And that's what makes me want to come back to CVCH and recommend them to my friends and family.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, independent agent and owner at Springwater Insurance Group here in North Central Washington. And one of the things we enjoy doing is teaching people how to find the right Part D drug plan. And if you went into a shoe shop and they just sat you down and handed you a pair of shoes, that'd be confusing. You'd want them to measure. Well, we take a measurement at Springwater Insurance Group. We ask you 4 questions. What's the name, the dose, the frequency, and the pharmacy for your medications? This allows us to measure and get the right fit for 2020. Give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group for the right fit for your drug plan at 888-2600.
Welcome back. 9 minutes after the hour. Fair skies, 27 degrees, just about the 50-degree mark. With quite a bit of sunshine, a very pleasant weekend, bountiful sunshine for everybody, no precipitation, no wind. Not bad start to the month of November. Here's what's making headlines on this Friday. Moses Lake police believe there may be some tainted heroin in town after responding to 3 overdoses in 4 hours on Wednesday. Now, in the past, it's been the result of a bad batch of drugs making its way through town. The department said it has happened before. But throwing your heroin away, although it's the wisest move, police say, they know it's not likely. So they're advising people to call 911 immediately if they see someone having an overdose. By the way, none of the overdoses reported on Wednesday were fatal. Central Washington's congressional caucus split among party lines, rather predictable for the next step towards impeachment. The House voted 232 to 196 to approve the rules that will govern the impeachment process against President Trump. Among the yes votes, Democrat Kim Schreier, of course, whose 8th district represents most of the Wenatchee Valley. 4th district Republican Dan Newhouse, who represents Greater Douglas and Okanagan counties, voted no. The probe will now consider whether the president committed impeachable offenses in his conduct towards the Ukraine. Well, your chance to comment on how Washington's gray wolves should be managed once they're taken off the state's endangered species list has been extended now to November 15th. Our senior news correspondent, Steve Hare, followed this report.
Officials say the 2-week extension gives people more time to submit comments, especially those of you who live in rural areas without internet service. Now, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is using the State Environmental Policy Act, or SEPA, process to develop a post-recovery wolf management and conservation plan. After that, the next opportunity would be when the agency drafts an environmental impact statement in late 2020. That document will evaluate long-term wolf conservation and management options. Meanwhile, since 2008, the state's wolf population has grown an average of 28% a year. At present, there are a minimum of 126 individuals, 27 packs, and 15 successful breeding pairs recorded during the last annual population survey. State biologists say they're confident that the state's wolf population is on a path to successful recovery. Now, you can submit your comments on the WDFW website if you have access, or just submit them by mail. Steve Hare, NCW Life News.
Thank you for that report, Steve. The North Central Educational Services District now has $200,000 extra dollars to help kids find their careers. The funding from Career Connect Washington will help create a new regional network to train students in Chelan, Douglas, Grant, and Okanagan counties, and to train them for jobs that are in high demand and carry high wages. The Apple STEM Network will lead the effort along with SkillSource. Organizers say the project statewide hopes to expose at least 60% of graduating students to new career opportunities. That's always good news. And finally, of course, it's Friday. Lots going on this weekend. We have an in-house expert, weekend events with Megan McPherson.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. Join Wellness Place for the 6th Annual Wellness Place Fundraising Gala and celebrate under the stars this Friday at Pipus Public Market. Enjoy a delicious dinner by Chef's Edge, live and silent auctions to support neighbors in need, and community fellowship through connection and inspiration. With the power of donations and community engagement, Wellness Place is able to provide free support to cancer patients and their families, healthy aging programs, and more. Celebrate Day of the Dead this Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. with the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. This free event is open to the public, and there will be live music, dancing, crafts, and delicious food. Everyone is encouraged to bring photographs in honor of lost loved ones to the museum the day of the event to display on a community altar. Join the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center for a free art class this Saturday from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. and create an art dice inspired by artist Joan Miro. Children 4 to 11 and their guardians are encouraged to attend these monthly art lessons with artist-in-residence Maria Gonzalez. These free classes will be held in Coyote's Corner. And finally, the Wenatchee Valley Symphony Orchestra presents Halloween Spooktacular this Saturday night at 7 at the Numerica Performing Arts Center. This is a great concert for the whole family. Come in costume for this eerie and sinister event. For more information on this weekend's events and others, visit the community calendar at ncwlife.com.
And a reminder, wherever you go this weekend, we are portable. You can watch our live stream on your smart device, be it your phone or your tablet, or whatever the case may be, so you can check out our quality local programming as you're out and about on this first weekend in November. That's what's making headlines on this Friday with a preview of tonight's evening news. Here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we sat down with Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz, who talked about the financial situation at the Town Toyota Center. As part of the Wenatchee Valley Chamber's Careers After School program, 30 middle and high school students were given an inside look at the surgical procedures at Confluence Health. I'll be talking warmer temperatures in your North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will have a preview of tonight's football action around our area. That and much more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Dan?
We appreciate it, Grant. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. We had a bunch of trick-or-treaters come by our studios last night to celebrate Halloween. I know because I checked our candy supply. It's been dwindled. There might have been a few adults who participated in that as well. Be sure to get a hold of us. Go to our Facebook page and drop us a line. You can drop us an email at news@ncwlife.com. You can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We have a Twitter handle. We'd love to hear from you, our viewers. It's 15 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break. When we come back, a whole bunch of sports coming your way. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're broadcasting live this morning from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
To the people of the city of Chelan, I am the most qualified candidate seeking the office of mayor. Educated, experienced, and dedicated. I will represent all the residents of Chelan to the best of my ability and be accessible to them. I am the common sense candidate to bring balance to the city's transportation, housing, and recreation. This election will determine the future of Chelan. Keep our Eastern Washington small town appearance. Vote for Bob Getty. I'm Bob Getty, and I approve this message.
My awesome is being able to share my passion for yoga. I found yoga in my mid-40s to help me kind of de-stress and calm down, and it actually changed my life. Washington Trust believed in me. I felt like, okay, they got my back. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna go for it. It actually makes you feel like more brave. I do have a lot of awesome in my life.
What's your awesome? Whatever it is, we'll help you get there.
Welcome back. 16 minutes after the hour. Let's start out sports with a look at the prep soccer results. The Les Schwab prep soccer scoreboard we go. Semifinals of the CWAC district tournament with Othello. They downed Ephrata yesterday. The final was 3-1. Sela got by Othello 4-1. So next up in the CWAC, Tuesday at Quincy, Ephrata will take on Othello at 5 o'clock. That will be for third and fourth place. And then Ellensburg and Sela will do battle for the district championship next Tuesday at 7. The Big Nine held their cross-country district meet in Yakima, the gateway to Wapato. That happened yesterday. Wenatchee was able to advance its girls team to state with a second-place finish. The Wenatchee boys just missed. They placed third. Davis's Renelle Christensen won the girls' race. Ike's Jonas Price took first in the boys' race. To the prep swimming schedule over the next couple of days. Everybody into the pool. The Big Nine Swim and Dive District Championships continue at Moses Lake there. Lions Pool today at noon and tomorrow at 11 o'clock. The Caribou Trail League District Soccer Tournament gets underway. It'll be at Leibofte Field at the Apple Bowl tomorrow. Your schedule looks something like that. Chelan will face Okanagan in a loser-out game at 4. That'll be followed by the district championship game between the rivals of Cascade and Cashmere at 6. The tournament continues Tuesday with the winner of the Chelan-Okanagan game facing the loser of Cascade and Cashmere. As far as Big Nine soccer is concerned, stay with me on this one. Eastmont and Moses Lake wrap up their Big Nine regular season tomorrow. Wildcat Stadium, league title on the line. We're going to have that game for you, by the way. The winner will get the number 1 seed into the district tournament unless Moses Lake wins in a scoreless shootout. The tiebreaker point system would give Eastmont the number 1 seed, Moses Lake number 2, Wenatchee number 3, all 3 seeds sharing the league title. Now, if Moses Lake shuts Eastmont out in regulation, Moses Lake would be the number 1 seed, Wenatchee number 2, and Eastmont number 3, and the Chiefs would be the Big Nine champions. Again, we'll have that game tomorrow on the NCW Live channel. Eric Granstrom and Sebastian Moraga will begin the pregame at 12. Actually, it'll be Eric and Matt Weisen, I believe. Pregame at 12:45, kickoff at 1 o'clock. Let's talk football, Big Nine football schedule for tonight. Eastmont will host Moses Lake. We'll have it right here on the NCW Live channel live at 6:45 at the pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Wenatchee is on the road. That's a non-league game. They're in Walla Walla, a town so nice they named it twice. And even though it's not a league game, doesn't really mean anything for the Panthers for the league title. Coach Scott Devereaux says it matters a lot for Wenatchee's future.
We humbled them a bit on Monday. That's part of our job as coaches. We found some things on film we can get better at, and we definitely made sure we did that. I rode them pretty hard this week. Can't be any let up. You know, this game against Walla Walla is like a playoff game. It's a seeding game. It's a game we should win, but the guys got to go down there with the right frame of mind. Every team is seeded now by that committee, and they look at everything pretty tight, and we don't want to have a loss against a 500 football team. That would definitely hurt our seeding. And we need to come off a game feeling good and fine-tuned, knowing we're going into another playoff game. And so we practiced pretty well yesterday, and I think we're ready.
Nate Blauman is having just a great senior season. He's going to be setting some records before his career is all said and done. 1,239 rushing yards. He's rushed for 17 touchdowns. He's caught a couple more touchdown passes. He has over 1,500 all-purpose yards. Not bad for a kid who seriously considered quitting all sports his freshman year.
I kind of went through some hard stuff during basketball season, and I was just going through a super hard time. I lost like all my confidence in myself, and I kind of decided that spring, Dev came over to my house and talked to me about playing football. He really wanted me to play, and at that point I was a quarterback. My freshman year I just had 38 touchdowns, and so he really wanted me to play, and so he talked to me a little bit, and I decided to play. And that first spring practice, I was kind of overwhelmed with all the plays and stuff because I didn't know any of them, and I just wasn't confident in myself at that time. And so the next day I asked Dev if I could switch to running back, and so he switched me to running back, and I became a running back from then on, and continued. I decided to play basketball. It took me a while to think about, but I played again, and from then on I've played. But yeah, I was pretty close to not playing sports anymore.
Coach Devereaux thought his teammates were joking when he heard from them through the grapevine that Blauman was going to quit sports, but the more he heard, the more Coach Devereaux said, I better go sit down and talk to Nate.
He just didn't felt like it was worth it anymore at that particular time, and he told everybody he was done. And my part of the job of being a coach is trying to get the best guys. And so I called his dad and we talked and went down and had some time with the Nate Blauman family. And glad I did, because all his teammates love him. Lovable kid, and he practices the right way and he plays the right way.
Blauman said he's thinking about walking on at Wazoo. He wants to play college football at the next level, and he has some advice to anyone who's going through a rough time.
Don't give in to negativity and the other things that can come with sports. Just think of the positive things and work hard. When you want to work for these guys and yourself and prove yourself, to a lot of people. Just fight through it. Like it's totally worth it in the end for sure. Because you'll look back in many years and be like, dang, I wish I would have kept playing. But if you stick it out, then you'll be pretty happy with the results usually.
Yep, Blauman and his team's down in Walla Walla. They'll kick it off tonight at 7 o'clock. Also, Sunnyside of Davis is a big game tonight. Of course, the Grizzlies were shut out by the Panthers last week. If the Grizzlies lose to Davis tonight, that means next week's Wenatchee-Eastmont game will be for all the marbles. Speaking of the Wildcats, they're home tonight, of course, against Moses Lake. It's our Friday Night Lights game. We'll have it right here on this very award-winning television station. Eastmont blowing away the league in team rushing. Nearly 2,400 yards on the ground as a team. Coach Michael Don likes to share the load and hopes they continue with a successful recipe.
We got 4 guys that really divvy up the carries. Carson Talley gets a little bit more than everyone else. He's the little bit of the workhorse, but Austin, I think, has 75 carries this year. And then if you combine our freshman and sophomore, Austin and Corbin, they have like 68 carries. So it's pretty balanced out. A lot of guys get touches. Nobody has more than 9 touchdowns on the year. Everybody gets their opportunity to carry the ball and do what they're able to do. And it's hard to defend when you don't know who's going to get it.
Don says he expects a challenge from Moses Lake, no doubt about that, and that he needs his team to keep things just nice and simple.
Anytime I try to get too fancy, we end up screwing it up. So I got to get out of my own way and just do what we do well and play football and do it the way we've been taught and the way we've been doing it all year. And we expect to go out and get their best effort, though, because their kids are playing for pride, not having the best year, but they've hung in games here and there. The Wenatchee game, they were tough till halftime and then kind of got pulled away from at the end. And you can't let teams hang around, so we need to go out and take care of business early and not overlook them. That's why we're prepping just Moses Lake this week. It'd be really easy to look ahead and do other things, but our kids are focused on the task at hand, and they've done a great job of that this week.
And again, if you can't make it to Wildcat Stadium tonight, we will have the game for you live right here in the NCW Live channel. Eric and Grant on the call, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. What else is going on under the lights in high school football tonight? Hey, it's the Pear Bowl. Great rivalry between Cashmere. Cashmere and Cascade will do battle in Peshastin along the Wenatchee River. The Pear Bowl is tonight. Since they began handing out the Pear Bowl trophy in 2003, Cashmere has won 15 of the 16 games. However, 3 of the last 4 Pear Bowls have been gone right down to the end, a touchdown differential. A Bulldog win tonight would give Kashmir the number 2 seed out of the CTL, headed to state. Afraid in Quincy finish out their CWAC regular season tonight. The Tigers will be at Grandview. The Jackrabbits will be at Wapato. The playoffs for the other top 6 teams will be played in Grandview tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock. The Bees also finish up their regular season tonight with Pateras hosting Sunnyside Christian at 6. The rest of the kickoffs are at 7. You got Lake Roosevelt at Brewster, Orville hosting Tenasket, Mabton's at Manson, Waterville Mansfield will be in Antioch, Soap Lake travels to Bridgeport tomorrow at 2, and Elmira at Cooley Heartline tries to bounce back from their early loss of the season. They'll take on Libertyville at 4 o'clock tomorrow. On the college football schedule this weekend, Washington, coming off a bye week, will host number 9 Utah Husky Stadium tomorrow at 1. That's nationally televised on Fox. Eastern Washington will host Northern Arizona on the red carpet at 1:05. Central Washington's in California, and Washington State doesn't play anybody. Seahawks host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Sunday at CenturyLink Field. Kickoff on Fox 1:05. Seattle begins the second half of the season at 6-2. The Bucs are 2-5, and can't forget about the Wenatchee Wild. They're home this weekend. Merritt Centennial's in town for a doubleheader. Tonight is Walt's birthday. It's also Paws and Claws night with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tomorrow is Daddy-Daughter night. Of course, the puck drops both nights at the Town Toyota Center at 7:05. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday at 27 minutes after the hour. I had a whole bunch of obscure holidays I could have chose from today. It's All Saints Day. It's World Vegan Day. It's National Calzone Day. It's Family Literacy Day. It's Cook for Your Pets Day. It's National Vinegar Day. It's National Deep Fried Clams Day. It's National Brush Day. We're not doing any of those. No, today is National Men Make Dinner Day today. So men, throw on the apron, sharpen your knives, and work on your culinary skills. Now, of course, gender roles have changed a lot in this country over the last decades or so. It's much less rigid. It's not just women in the kitchen making the dinner anymore. Guys do it too, and guys need to do it every once in a while. Now, remember, we've been cooking. The human race has been cooking food for, I don't know, about 500,000 years or so, give or take a couple. And for some strange reason, it just kind of developed that women cook and men don't. No. Men cook. Men cook today. In my family, of course, as you know, I grew up in a large family. Mom did most of the cooking, and I love my mother, God rest her soul. She knew how to make a lot of food, but she wasn't necessarily good at it. When Dad cooked, well, that was usually a treat. Didn't happen so often, but it happened every once in a while. It's National Men You Make the Dinner Day, and you have to make the dinner. You can't just, okay, let's get a pizza. Nope. You can't just throw something in the oven and call it good. You have to actually prepare a dinner today. Men, it's your night. Don't let me down. The obscure holiday for this first day of November. Today in history, a lot of interesting things happened on this date, including a really bad mistake by the British Parliament. It was 254 years ago today, November 1st, 1765, that they enacted the Stamp Act. On the 13 colonies, they needed to pay for British military operations. In North America, the British had just won the French War, the French and Indian War. Somebody had to pay for it, so they passed the Stamp Act to make the Americans pay for it. The Americans said, now wait a minute, 2 things. Number 1, we were cheering for the French. We wanted the French to beat you guys. And number 2, we already paid for the war. Taxation without representation. The British Parliament didn't think this one through, and if there's any one match that lit the fuse for the American Revolution, it may have very well been the Stamp Act, which was imposed on the colonists on this date 254 years ago. Oops. Keep up the good work, Great Britain. 219 years ago. That's an exclusive photo. Nobody else has that. John and Abigail Adams moved into the executive mansion. It would eventually, of course, be known as the White House. That is an exclusive photo of their actual moving in to the White House on this date. Very little of the original White House remains. Of course, the White House was burned almost to the ground by the British in 1814. Fun facts about the White House: there are 132 rooms, 32 bathrooms. It's 6 levels. It has 412 doors, 147 windows, 28 fireplaces in the White House, 7 staircases, it has 3 elevators, it has a tennis court, a jogging track, a swimming pool, a bowling alley, a movie theater. Not a bad place to kick back. The White House, John Adams and his wife Abigail moved into the White House, the first occupants, 219 years ago today. And by the way, the U-Haul rental was one way, in case you were curious. November 1st, 1938, one of the great stories of the Great Depression, of course, was Seabiscuit. Seabiscuit defeats a Triple Crown winner, War Admiral. It was a huge upset victory. It was called the Match of the Century. It was just the two of them. It was the basis of a pretty good movie and a really, really, really good book. To the video.
This is a real horse race, just what we hoped we'd get. They're head and head, and both jockeys driving. It's the best horse from here in. They've got 200 yards to come. It's horse against horse. Both of them driving. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Now Seabiscuit by a length and a half. Wolf has put away his whip. Seabiscuit by 3. Seabiscuit by 3. Seabiscuit is the winner by 4 lengths. And you never saw such a wild crowd.
Seabiscuit beats War Admiral on this date back in 1938. It's hard to remember, but by far the three biggest sports in America during the Great Depression were baseball, horse racing, and boxing. Horse racing, of course, is struggling now, but that great moment happened on this date back in 1938. November 1st, 1950, 69 years ago today, he was taking a nap at the Blair House. They were remodeling and renovating the White House, so Harry Truman and his wife Bess lived temporarily for a couple of years at Blair House, right across the street from the White House. And a couple of Puerto Rican nationalists by the name of Guisilio Torresolo and Oscar Colozano thought this was a good opportunity to raise awareness about Puerto Rican statehood, and they decided to do that by trying to kill the President of the United States. They failed. A security guard was killed. One of the two Puerto Rican nationalists were also killed. They tried to kill the President of the United States. They failed to do so 69 years ago. It could have been very easily done. Didn't happen on this date back in 1950. His name was Jack Gilbert Graham. Jack Gilbert Graham really, really, really did not like his mother. He had a terrible childhood. He and his mother simply did not get along. He decided the best course of action, Jack Graham, was to kill his mother. And what he did is he planted a whole bunch of dynamite and a timing mechanism in her luggage after she packed her luggage. They drove to the airport in Denver. She checked in. She got on the plane. Jack Gilbert Graham went to the vending machine at the Denver airport and bought life insurance. You could do that back in those days. It would pay $37,500 if the plane crashed. And of course, the plane blew up. All 44 people on board died. The FBI started their investigation, and a couple of weeks later, they caught him, and he admitted it. Jack Gilbert Graham bombed United Airlines Flight 629 on this date 64 years ago today. And finally, happy birthday to Big Mac. That's what the locals call it in Upper Michigan. The Mackinac Bridge, at the time, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world. It opened to traffic. It connects the Upper Peninsula to the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. This thing is huge. It's 5 miles long. Costs $4 to cross. It has its own radio station. Yeah. As you're driving over the Mackinac Bridge, you can tune into a radio station that tells you about the history of the bridge as you drive over it. And if you suffer from geophrophobia, which is the fear of crossing bridges, the Mackinac Bridge Authority has a driver's assistance program. I kid you not. So if you have geophrophobia, the fear of crossing bridges, and you want somebody else to drive your car, they do it. About 1,000 people a year use the service. You have to call ahead. You say, I really don't want to drive over a bridge that's 5 miles long. And somebody else will drive your car for you. Not bad. Happy birthday to the bridge they call the Big Mac, opened for traffic on this date back in 1957. Got a couple of birthdays for you. One of the greatest golfers of all time celebrates birthday number 84, the great South African Gary Player, one of 5 golfers to achieve the career Grand Slam. The first foreign-born golfer to ever win the Masters. Gary Player, a legend in the world of golf, is 84 years old today, and he looks great for 84. He also designed some pretty good golf courses. I played some Gary Player designs. They're tough, but they're fair. And happy birthday to Tim Cook. He's the CEO of Apple, has been since Steve Jobs passed away. He says he's going to give away all of his stock options when he retires to charity. Tim Cook, the CEO and president of Apple Incorporated. Life is good for Tim. He's 59 years old today. And hey, guess what's back? We did this back in March. We're doing it again now throughout the course of the month of October. I want to remind you about a great deal that Campbell's has put together. They call it the Weekend Getaway, and it's for locals only at Campbell's Resort on the shores of beautiful Lake Chelan. It's only $95 a night. What a steal that is, but it's for locals only. It's for locals only. You got to prove you live in the North Central Washington area, and they'll get you a room for just $95 a night for the weekend getaway at Campbell's Resort. They also, of course, host parties. If you plan on having a holiday party, doesn't matter what size it is, a small little gathering in a small intimate room or a big party with a lot of people, you want to call Campbell's now to the November to get that booked, especially if you want to have your holiday party on a Friday or a Saturday. Get it booked now. Give Campbell's a call. CampbellsResort.com. They've been around for 118 years. I'm no expert, but if you've been in business for 118 years, you know what you're doing. Again, the locals weekend getaway, just $95 a night. Give Campbell's a call. Get up to beautiful Campbell's, kick back, relax, and enjoy. 35 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Mike Magnotti's opinion, and then our news director, Cal Fitzsimmons, sat down with Sonny Hemphill and Martin Barron. They are both candidates for the Wenatchee School Board position number 3. That conversation is also on the way. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, I'm Ricardo, and this is Amanda, and we are from Impact Auto Sales.
Where you can expect a hassle-free car buying experience. With our wide selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs, let one of our friendly sales staff help you find the vehicle that fits your lifestyle. We have financing available for all credit types and great low rates for first-time buyers. Call us today at 888-8000 or stop by 3522 State Highway 97A in Wenatchee. Impact Auto Sales, where we strive to make an impact on your life and not your wallet.
Only one dealership in Wenatchee has Motor Trend's SUV of the Year and Truck of the Year. That's right, Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram has the all-new Jeep Wrangler and the all-new Ram 1500 pickup. Or get the best of both worlds in the new Jeep Gladiator. Visit Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today for more information on these award winners and see why there's no reason to leave town to buy your next vehicle.
Hi, Stephen here, Branch Manager of Beneficial and Home Care. It's our mission to maximize our clients' physical health and sense of mental well-being while remaining in the comfort of their home. Qualified care is only a phone call away. Beneficial in Home Care helps you live safely and comfortably at home. Our home care supervisors provide a free in-home assessment with quick process and turnaround. Call Beneficial in Home Care. Schedule your personalized one-on-one care today.
Shop the Ashley Home Store grand opening sale this weekend. Shop the incredible savings you'll find store-wide. Sofas starting at $4.99. Get 50% off this hybrid queen mattress, now only $4.49, with free memory foam pillow. And save on reclining sofas starting at $5.99. Free giveaways every weekend. Enter to win your choice. Plus, no interest for up to 60 months. Celebrate the unbeatable savings at this grand opening sale. Hurry in now. Ashley Home Store. This is home. Next to Davis Furniture in downtown Wenatchee.
Let Fitterers Furniture help you turn your dreams into reality with their exciting selection of quality furnishing and accessories. Whatever style you are looking for, you will find beautifully crafted furniture of exceptional value and the unmatched Fitterers customer service to make this shopping experience one you will keep coming back to. Make a point of visiting Fitterers Furniture in downtown Ellensburg.
Quality selection and service since 1896.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. No wonder women are angry, and no wonder they're speaking out. For far too long, we've ignored the fact that women have been abused and harassed at the hands of some men. And yes, maybe it's not you, but it's somebody. Official stats used to be that 1 in 4 women would be sexually assaulted to some degree by the time she graduated high school. But in reality, this statistic is far too conservative. But even accepting that it's 25% of women who suffer this abuse, isn't that conservative figure a justifiable explanation for why women are speaking out and demanding change? Of course it is. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks, so bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
The Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest-running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items, and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station.
The race for Wenatchee School Board Director Position 3 has incumbent Sonny Hemphill facing retired businessman Martin Barron. Hemphill was one of a 3-person slate of candidates that was elected in 2017, promising change. She is the first of the 3 to come up for re-election.
Okay, Sonny, let's start with you.
All right.
You were elected 2 years ago, and you came in on a platform of change.
I did.
That you saw was needed for the district.
Yes.
2 years later, are you happy with the way things have gone and where you're headed?
Yes. I'm quite happy with the way things have gone. We are headed in a really positive direction. As you know, we welcomed a new superintendent to the district. He began work on July 1st. And the board had our first meeting with him on July 10th. And I'm not sure the man has stopped moving since. I am hearing all kinds of positive things from staff members, from the public. I'm going to brag a little bit. I think the board made an incredibly good decision in hiring Dr. Paul Gordon, and we worked incredibly hard to make certain we did bring the right person to Wenatchee.
So Martin, you're running against an incumbent for the school board.
Correct, yes.
She's the school board president. You may not be as happy with the way things are going if you decided to challenge her.
That's true, but actually I think there have been some considerable improvements since I first took an interest in this. If you look at my signs, they'll say 4-hour schools. And I became interested in this when I read a lot about a coalition of 3 people, which is something I totally disagree with. I am strongly independent, and I believe the appropriate role for a school board member, Sonny, is always to use independent judgment and vote independently. So I was concerned about that right from when it started. And then I read reports of morale problems, and there was the looming budget deficit, which had absolutely nothing to do with you, McCleary, and a whole bunch of circumstances. And yes, I do think things are going well. Now, something I would say, I very much welcome Paul Gordon. But something I've said is I wrote my campaign before he ever arrived. And I said, you know, you first got to listen, then you ask questions, and then you think, and then you work in a group. And I do think it's true. He's doing a great job. Congratulations to everybody. But it's very similar to what I stood for well before this started. And I'm really standing because large numbers of people asked me to run. That's what happened when I applied for and did not get a vacant position on the board. And that's why I'm running, for the good of the community, because I think I have the skills to help it.
Now, Sonny, he mentioned the three-person group that came in, you and two others.
Yes.
And whether you were acting independently or you were acting as a group. How would you respond to that?
We ran together. We were like-minded. There was a committee of people who started looking for folks to run, and I had encouraged someone to run, and then she turned around and came back to me and said, Sonny, will you run? And met with some folks. We went through a long process, and we did run together. It was very clear that change was needed in the district, and the most definite way to make change was to have 3 votes and to begin working on some of the issues that had been neglected on the board for a very long time, had been neglected in the district. I think the overwhelming issue was the culture of the district, and we had not seen that to be always of the most positive nature.
Do you think, Martin, that culture was part of the problem of the past for the school district?
Well, something I say about the past is I come into this, I'm future-oriented. And I think if you think there are problems, and they may well have been, the right way to go about it is to enable people to improve with a positive culture, an encouraging culture. If you come in with somewhat of an attack mode, you can be destructive. I think you can lift people up. And one of the things I've said is what we've got to do as a community now, because the other thing is, Sonny talked about the board's role, that it is supervisory, it approves policies, it's not executive, and that's totally correct. But the other role of the board is the third role, advocating for public schools in the community, going out and creating a positive image for the schools, getting allies, and getting this whole community to work together. Because schools, the reason I'm running, one of them is, there is no other investment that's more important for our future than K-12 education. And I have an opportunity at this late stage of my life to contribute to community service, and that's why I'm doing it. So that third role of going out to the community, that's not something intermittent. That's got to be something dedicated and continual. And when I'm going to talk a little bit about the culture affects all of us. I happen to speak Spanish, and I found during this campaign, I get an incredible welcome, the fact that you can talk in both languages and unify both communities. These are the things to go, but I don't think we can go back and throw blame around. I think that's not a good thing to do. I think if you see a problem, you come into it and you try to constructively do better with your people. I really like the way Paul Gordon moved his people next to him on the platform.
Absolutely.
And you got away from the way of looking at where somebody was being interrogated by a board member to, I think the board was forced to be more respectful of school employees. I really do.
Well, let me ask you this, Martin. On the school budget, there was some cuts made this past spring, and then they raised the levy, the local levy, $1.5 million, and they're looking at another 500 and something thousand to cut out of next year's school budget. Are there solutions there that you see other than raising the levy again?
Yes, I do. I think the school district took the right decision this time round. I think it was very important to steady the ship, as they said, and get to a point where the bond rating was protected. They took a big decision and made painful cuts. And then once you get there and you get operating, we will be working, I believe, as a district on a new strategic plan. And I'm a continuous improvement person, using all people. You've got to get input from every rung of your organization. And out of that come creative solutions that you can't even imagine until you actually open your ears and listen with respect to everybody. That's what's really important. So I'm hopeful that over the course of this budget, with stabilization, people will come up with ideas. Now, there are all the trends, including the cost structure of education, which tends to have quite a high escalating factor, that will make it difficult. So we may need to work on taxes. But one thing I'd like to say is that local tax, the school district doesn't have that much discretion often on its money. It's funded by Olympia with rules by Olympia. It's funded by Washington, D.C. with rules by Washington, D.C. That local levy is the one that local priorities can use. It's the most flexible kind of money. So I think it's very, very powerful. And it is also a kind of industrial development expense, if you call it that. School district is one of our biggest enterprises. It's also an investing enterprise, like building roads. It's got a very high labor content. So if you put some taxes into the school district, it stays in our hometown.
Sonny, you've had an intimate look at the budget.
I have.
Past budget, upcoming budgets.
Yes.
Are we heading for another levy increase?
I really hope not. I really didn't want to increase the levy this time. We didn't have a choice. There are some things that you absolutely have to do. And I am really hopeful that we'll get this situation under control. I do see our future finances as being perhaps one of the most significant challenges that we're going to face. We are a declining enrollment district, and that means the money coming from the state falls a little bit every year. We also have a charter school opening here, I want to say 2 years, a year, 2 years. That's going to affect our enrollment and also, obviously, our income. And yet we will still be providing the entire range of services for all of our students. It is going to require creativity. It's going to require everyone being on the same page and working together. I do believe that there's that old saying, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance.
Well, let me ask you this. Wenatchee School District spends more per pupil each year than most of our area school districts, $1,000 more in most cases. It also, the district, the board, gave pay increases of 11 to 15% to its teachers and other staff.
Yes, we did.
Does Wenatchee School District have a revenue problem or a spending problem?
It depends on who you ask.
I'm asking you.
I know,
Yeah.
you're asking me.
Yeah.
My voice on the board is, and it surprises people, I think, I'm a bit of a fiscal conservative on the board. I have not been on the board long enough to understand the full history of pay raises for our district. We were assured that it was long overdue. I believe we will see an active negotiating session next summer when we re-enter contract negotiations with all of the unions. I don't feel comfortable saying where I think that will go. Do we have a revenue problem or do we have a spending problem? Here's the fact. 85% of our budget is employee salary and benefits, of course. This year, the legislature enacted, it's SEB, it's State Employee Benefit, something with a B. And it greatly increased the cost to districts for employee benefits. We had no option about participating in that. That was incredibly expensive. We didn't get to choose. I'm not trying to duck the question. I am very serious that whether we have a revenue problem or a spending problem depends on who you're asking.
Well, let's ask Martin then.
Actually, I have a lot of sympathy for what Sonny has been trying to answer. And I will say that I've studied around the state and looked at other school districts, and I don't know of a school district that isn't in a very similar position to ours.
There are very few.
And you can go back over the history about how the McCleary decision was implemented, and the fact of the matter is that the significant, substantial increase in educators' pay was statewide.
Yes.
And now we have to digest this. But then we have to, in fairness, ask ourselves, we've often as a community talked about, are we adequately compensating our teachers to get the best people to come into that career? So I would say historically that Wenatchee is a school district that's offered a wide range of opportunities. And so I think, getting back to what I said, education is an investment in our future. We should be proud of that. we're lucky we're not a school district that cuts arts and cuts discretionary things and doesn't have advanced programs. And we're a little bit of a magnet for people for diverse opportunities in our school district. And I think that's actually kind of a good thing. So it's easy for me to say I'm looking forward because this is where we are. We like what we've got in terms of the services we offer. And here are some things that I see. I formed some listening groups when I became a candidate of educators, parents, students, community members, and I just listened to them. And you sort of see the challenges that our youth faces. Are schools hope or are they a problem? They're a hope. And it would be good to have a little bit of freedom of space for teachers and students to fill this around themselves in a more creative way. So I think what we're really going here is culture, that's investment. Yes, it is going to be expensive. Where we've got to try to defend it. And I think I would responsibly go to the community, look for savings, look what we can do, and really say, Wenatchee, we should be proud of our schools. We should invest them in.
You have to understand one thing about our financial situation. Wenatchee does not have the assessed evaluation that, for instance, the Eastmont district has. Our major employers on this side of the river don't pay taxes into the school district. The PUD, Confluence, CVCH, Wenatchee Valley College. Those are huge employers and they're incredibly important partners in our community. They are incredibly important to the overall health and well-being of our community, but they don't contribute tax-wise to our district. And we don't have the kinds of retail, for instance, that the Eastmont district has, or the industrial, like out by the airport. We have to ask homeowners and small businesses to support us. And Wenatchee has always supported schools. That's been one of the most amazing things, is that they have always supported the schools, because no community can grow and thrive and be healthy without good public schools.
Okay, well, thank you again, both of you.
Thank you, Cal, for inviting me.
Yeah.
After 21 years at the Lake Chelan Mailboxes store, Jerry and Sherry are ready to retire. Jerry and Sherry would like to thank everyone and give some lucky person a business opportunity. That's right, you could own a great small business in Lake Chelan with a proven track record. This includes FedEx, UPS, and USPS services, making it a unique offer. For information on buying Chelan mailboxes, call Jerry or Sherry, and while you're there, wish them well.
And we are back. Beautiful sunrise going on right now in the Wenatchee Valley. And we're in for a pretty good looking weekend, all things considered. The big story, we're finally going to warm up. If you didn't join us at the top of the hour when this show began, we had the coldest October ever. We just bid adieu to October, and in the overnight hours, we got the press release from the National Weather Service. October, the coldest October on record since they started keeping records, and that goes back, I believe, to the 1930s. We set any number of daily records on the 2nd, the 9th, the 10th, and the 29th. On those 4 days, we either tied or broke the record cold temperatures on those dates. And wouldn't you know it, on the 25th of October, we set a record high. But it was a very chilly October. Things are going to warm up. Let's take a look at your forecast for the weekend from the National Weather Service. Lots of sunshine today, just about 49. We're at 25 right now with fair skies. Clear tonight, 32 for the overnight low. Mostly sunny Saturday. We'll top off at 51. Quite a bit of sunshine Saturday night into Sunday. We're looking at about 54, maybe even close to 60 on Monday and Tuesday. I got to dust off the golf club. So it's been a very chilly few days here in the Wenatchee Valley, but things are finally starting to warm up. Again, a little worried about air inversion. It's a possibility. This time of year, the pollutants couldn't get trapped pretty close to the ground. We'll keep a close eye on that. All right, that's it for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Everybody have yourself a fantabulous weekend. Don't forget we got high school football tonight, the Chiefs and the Wildcats, and provided this show wasn't canceled, I'll see you Monday. Take care, bye-bye.